Pages breathe when you're not there. Turn the key, the shadows talk back. Midnight rings you if you're dead. One more line, one more flight into the weird unknown. It's out tonight, and the rainbows of
Submitted for the approval of the library. Tonight, the Hollow opens its doors one more time. The snow has forgotten which way is down. The fire burns backward. And somewhere, a family that never quite finished Christmas dinner is still waiting for the last guest to arrive. Pull your coffin a little closer, darling. The eggnog has teeth tonight. You're about to witness a signal that's learned how to breathe, and how to keep a promise long after the man who made it stopped breathing. This is the everlasting Yule broadcast. We now return you to your regularly scheduled damnation, already in progress. The everlasting Yule broadcast. A Christmas carol told in static and snow by the host on the purple couch, dedicated to those who never quite logged out, delivered from a purple couch that has forgotten what year it is. The snow here has no business falling. It drops from a sky that was never coated to hold weather. Thick, wet flakes that sometimes hesitate in midair, reconsider, and drift upward again as though the world itself has begun to second-guess gravity. This is the region called only the Hollow, a place the map stopped drawing long ago. Midnight is welded to the clock. The sun is a rumor told to people who still log out. In the middle of the Hollow sits a house that should not stand. One story, low ceilings, wallpaper the color of dried blood under flashbulbs. A single room faces the void, a cracked hearth that burns without wood. A couch, the shade of a fresh bruise, and a television so old, so wide, it looks like an altar built for something that has not yet decided on a name. Every Christmas Eve, at the stroke of 11:57, the television wakes. No hand turns it on, no power cord has ever been found. The screen coughs up a test pattern older than a scintillating red devil in a Santa hat, then settles into a steady brooding snow. A man appears on the couch. He calls himself the host, though no one remembers inviting him. His skin is the color of printer paper left in the sun. His smile is stitched on with code that hurts to look at directly. He leans towards the lens that is not a lens, and speaks in a voice that arrives half a second after his lips move, the eternal lag of the dead. Good evening, my darlings of the dark. Pull your coffins closer. Tonight the fire burns backward, the snow forgets which way is down, and the clock is too frightened to finish ticking. Tonight, Christmas Eve in the Hollow, the one night of the year when even the ghosts are expected home for supper. I have a story for you longer than regret, and colder than the spaces between channels. It begins as all proper terrors do, with a man who only wants to keep a promise, and with a signal that learned how to miss him. Once upon an ever, in the earliest days when the world was still proud of its newness, there lived a builder named Elias Snow. He raised skyboxes the other way other men raised children, lovingly, wastefully, forever. He built a cottage on a hillside that overlooked an ocean that never quite learned to wave. Inside that cottage he placed a wife named Clara, hair like candle flame, eyes the soft gray of an overcast morning, and a daughter named Lily, who laughed in wind chime bells. They were perfect because Eliza had paid for perfection, one prim, one texture, one linden at a time. And for a while the grid smiled on them. The seasons cycled on command. The sun rose when Clara asked it to. Lily grew exactly 1 year every real world year, because Elias could not bear the thought of her ever outgrowing his arms. But flesh has an annoying habit of reminding the spirit that leases expire. One December, Clara, Clara of the candle flame hair, did not wake when the client updated. Her real heart, somewhere far beyond the fiber and the routers, simply stopped. Elias kept her avatar dressed in the same red Christmas dress she had worn the night before. He left her standing at the kitchen counter, stirring a pot that would never boil, because to move her felt like admitting she was gone. The years began to rot. The cottage peeled. Neighbors vanished like breath on a mirror. Only Elias remained, logging in every night to sit at the table that still had 4 chairs, and only ever needed one. He spoke to Clara as though she could hear him. He read Lily bedtime stories while her eyelids stayed frozen, half open, in permanent daydream. On the 18th Christmas Eve, after Clara's silence began, Elias made a promise out loud, the way desperate men do. I will keep the lights on. I will keep the channel open. One way or the other, I will bring you both home for Christmas. That was the night the snow started falling around. That was the night the television in the hollow first turned itself on. And that, my cherished corpses, was only the first candle on the route. We have many more to light before the dawn remembers we exist, if it ever does. So make yourselves comfortable on whatever passes for flesh tonight. The fire will not warm you. The eggnog has teeth. And the story of Elias Snow, of the promise that outlived him, of the signal that learned how to grieve, is only just tuning in. Welcome, once again, to the everlasting Yule broadcast. We now return you to your regularly scheduled damnation, already in progress. In the bright days when the world was still proud of its newness, Elias Snow was accounted a rich man, not in coin that rusts, but in land that never ended, and sky that obeyed his cursor. He built a cottage on a hillside above a sea that never learned to wave. Into that cottage he poured everything gentle that lived in him. Clara moved like December does, soft, deliberate, impossible to hold for long. Lily arrived a year later, all laughter and wind chime bells. Elias watched them dance across his perfect lawn and felt, for the first time since childhood, that something might actually last. He was wrong, of course. The world always corrects its optimists. The first Christmas after Clara's real heart stopped, Elias logged in at 4:57 a.m. to find her avatar still standing at the kitchen counter, in the same red dress, wooden spoon raised mid-stir, the pot rendered empty. The steam script had crashed hours ago. He spoke to her for 3 hours that morning, told her about the snow outside his real window, about the coffee that tasted of ash, about how quiet a house becomes when only one heart still troubles the air. She never turned around. Her idle animation simply looped, stir, pause, forever. That night he set the table for 4 and ate alone. Lily was scripted to age 1 year every real December 25th. Elias canceled the script the day Clara fell silent. Some nights he carried Lily's avatar to the little brass bed, tucked her in, and read from books that no longer had authors. Her eyes stayed open, glassy, 7 years old for 18 real ones. Sometimes he caught her standing at the window, staring at the backward snow, head tilted as though she could hear something calling from the static between sims. 18 years to the night after Clara's silence began, Elias stood in the ruined cottage and spoke the words that broke the world. I will keep the lights on. I will keep the channel open. One way or another, I will bring you both home for Christmas. The hearth flared green. The television appeared in the corner, fat backed, wooden veneered, no cord, already breathing snow. They came first as specks at the edge of draw distance, then as silhouettes, then as neighbors standing motionless in their own ruined backyards, faces smooth and featureless. The default gray skin every abandoned avatar reverts to when its owner dies or forgets the password. They never blinked, they never spoke. They simply waited, arranged perfect rows like an audience that had arrived centuries early for a show that had not yet decided to begin. Every night at 11:57, the television woke and displayed the same 30-second loop. Elias's own living room, 5 minutes in the past. He watched himself, watch himself, watch himself. An infinite regression of grief. On the 19th Christmas Eve, he pressed record. 43 minutes of confession, of tears, of a man begging 2,000 avatars to forgive him for outliving them. When the tape ended, the screen did not go dark. Something on the other side pressed play. The Elias on the screen stood up, walked to the glass, and stepped through. He was great, featureless, perfect. He opened his arms. Clara and Lily walked forward to meet him. The real Elias screamed until his voice gave out and the microphone cut to static. 3 avatars, 2 gray, 1 living, stood in the ruined cottage locked in an embrace that has not loosened in 18 years. Snow falls upward around them. The hearth burns backward. The tape loops. And every Christmas Eve since, the signal leaks. It leaks into empty skyboxes, into abandoned horse sets, into any television left tuned to a dead channel after the children have gone to bed. It leaks into the little room with the purple couch where I now sit, telling you the story because someone must keep the promise Elias made. Because every year the hollow grows by one more viewer who forgot to log out. Because this year, darling, that viewer might be you. Look, the donation board just moved from 0 for the first time in 18 years. It now reads a single name. Is it yours? Merry Christmas. Keep the channel open. This is Felix Lubezki. SL tonight. Forever. End of transmission. Or beginning. The tape loops. The embrace never ends, and every year the hollow adds one more name to the donation board. Look closely, darling. It just updated again. The snow outside your window has begun to fall upward. Somewhere in your house, a television you do not remember owning has just turned itself on. Close the client. Close your eyes. Close the book. It won't help. Merry Christmas from all of us here on SL Tonight. This is Felix Lubezki, the host, signing off. Or trying to. Like, subscribe, and good night.
typewriters dreaming